should be live. If you want to check on another computer.
Yes. Hello. Hello. For some reason I cannot see the chat.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it's like a YouTube bug, it seems. Can someone type something in the chat? Well, it's weird. Do
No,
you see the chat?
now it works for me, at least in the.
In the OBS?
No, I can see it. Point is, it's working. We will manage.
Okay, let me just try a different browser so I can see it maybe as well. But if it's not going to work on my end,
I mean,
I don't
worst case
know.
scenario, we just.
We're just going to ignore people.
Yes.
No, nice. I switched the different browser and I can see it now, so it's all good. Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to the next weekly episode of the musical chairs. Before we get into things, thank you, Wu, for sponsoring the streams as always. If you want to show some love, show some support, you can make a new account on Wu using the first link in the description. After you make the first deposit and open the first trade, you will get a bunch of benefits, which you see at the bottom of the screen. On the welcome screen, you may be looking at it right now. Anyway, with all that being said, we can talk about some things. We're gonna start with Bitcoin.
Boring.
As always, I have like two things I want to talk about. The first things first, basically, it's trading like a shit. First of all, we kind of failed underneath the all-time high. Basically, the only thing that last week was kind of a worth to talk about was this kind of pump we had into the FOMC. Comparing this to obviously some markets like S&P, which just like straight sent to the new all-time high. Bitcoin kind of just pumped into the FOMC, but then we kind of sold off again. This line right here, the 69-ish K, at least on this BTC USD index chart, is basically the prior all-time high. And I believe that last week when we talked, I kind of spoke about this kind of being a level for me. I want to see a reclaim. I believe I mentioned that, if we basically manage to make a new high, kind of take it from there, it would be good for continuation. This did not really happen. BTC is looking pretty weak. We have this kind of a compression, this kind of a price action where basically if you just gonna draw a trend line and it's kind of perfectly going to match. What tends to happen with these is that people just keep shorting every single bounce from the trend line until they basically get kind of squeezed to that at some point. But there are some example of this from like the move right here. Basically this type of situation. When you have this is obviously on a much kind of larger scale. Back from like a summer last year, we have a very clean trend line. Eventually, you kind of break through that. A similar thing is happening here. With BTC looking like this right now, the only place where I would like to get long, most likely, and this is pretty clean on the futures chart, is basically if you would trade underneath these lows, which are at the 60K as well. So this is the only place basically coming to the next week where I would be interested to trade Bitcoin. You can see I have this indicator right here. This is like comparing the CME futures with some other futures markets as well. It's not a public indicator, so I'm not going to go much in depth with that, but you can see, basically the last time we made this kind of low, it was in this kind of a, you can see this as kind of like overbought or oversold situation, and also basically when we made a highs, this was also kind of creeping a little bit of a too early. But if BTC basically trades underneath the 60K, this thing basically which compares like stuff like treasury bonds and in gold and dollar goes in line with that. I'm pretty sure I'll be like posting about this on Twitter At that point. But yeah, this is basically the only place where I would be really interested to trade BTC next week, which is basically 60k. It's also kind of like a big level, and it's also this kind of a weekly. There is this weekly liquidity gap, basically. This kind of a untraded price action. So yeah, that's very very simple. Obviously, if you just like start sending from here, then I would kind of stick to my previous plan, which would be if we reclaim basically previous all-time high, then I would assume this the lowest in, and if we go higher, uh, I'm not really interested in taking any trades here basically. So yeah, like I said, simple plan for the next week when it comes to Bitcoin. This kind of 59k low, big round number, nice level overall. I think it's going to be very pivotal. If we start really selling off, then I think this 52k area, which is the yearly VWAP as well, would be kind of an important level to look at. But I don't really want to get that ahead of that's quite a steep sell-off. So yeah, that's really for me when it comes to Bitcoin. Maybe Runner has something to add there.
Yeah, I think one interesting thing is that last week, so since we stream every Sunday, or we try to at least, because Adam is traveling all the time, I apologize for us. But last week we had basically 5 days in a row of net outflows. So since a lot of I know people are falling asleep already with ETF and shit, but the whole rally from 30 whatever K to 75 was on the back of the whole flywheel effect of ETF bros are buying, right? People are front running and yada yada. And obviously we had 5 days of outflows, obviously due to grayscale and whatnot, but I personally suggested much more weakness. That's my point I'm trying to make. If you told me at 75k where we had like $1 billion daily inflows and people just going ballistic, that we would have a week of outflows in a row and we're at like 66k. So that's the only thing. I have the same trend line like you do.
Yeah.
And another layer of cope is that tomorrow is a full moon. If you're into that, Adam, your favorite.
I never
astrologist.
really looked much, to be fair, into like how price action behaves around that, but it's supposed to be like bullish. The full moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like with respect to next week price action, sadly on Bitcoin and like majors, I have no strong feelings. Like just like you, for me, still the key pivotal event is halving, which is like 4 weeks away. Which sounds like a lazy excuse for me, but same for me. I'm not sure if I want to short, like a reclaim of 69. I'm not a breakout long, but you have that previous all-time high, maybe like some overshoot and retest to go long, but it's just not how I trade personally.
Yeah,
I would rather
yeah.
just long altcoins at that point.
Yeah, I believe that like BTC has been, obviously traded above 70k and like had a huge volatility, but once again, we are coming into this kind of a slower period when we have some nice altcoin rotations. The only thing which I feel is just like a tricky at this point is just like when BTC is going to dump 5% in one candle, obviously all your altcoins gonna get hit like 25% sell off. So that's kind of a hard thing to navigate. But besides that, I think that it's much more favorable to trade altcoins at this point. Although like I feel like the volatility has been a little bit muted in the last 1 or 2 weeks at least, but it's still some decent moves in the altcoins.
And also, maybe just me being lazy, but next week we have a weekly. Obviously, we have weekly close as well this week, but a monthly and quarterly. So I wonder, maybe we'll see some vol first week of April, but again, might be a total comp. We can move on to ETH and just shitcoins.
I think we can quickly talk about ETH. I had this very unlucky kind of trade last week. Basically, it came from actually ETH futures, where I was basically wanted to buy this kind of a 3,000 50-ish level. I had it because I usually when I trade BTC and ETH, I actually look at futures, with all the gaps and all the levels are kind of tend to be a little cleaner. So this is what I wanted to buy. I had a limit order on ETH at the same time, which was basically like towards these lows, kind of a similar level. And yeah, it got front run a little bit, although the ETH futures hit that. So I did not manage to really buy here. I longed a little higher, basically like into the FOMC, but ETH kind of hit this first area of resistance and just didn't really show any signs of strength. You can also see this is the yearly VWAP with 1 standard deviation bands. There is this kind of a basically -1 and this is -1, this is +1 standard deviation on the band, which kind of represents the fair value. If you would like draw a volume profile, you would have although this is very trending obviously market, but this kind of 70% trade volume from the VWAP was traded in this point, and you can see that we have this level of SR right here, which was pretty key to kind of a reclaim and send higher. So yeah, I
ETH
longed
and
ETH
higher? What?
I I longed ETH basically into the FOMC. We started kind of struggling, so I just closed the trade. And yeah, like this is once again looking like
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
Long time no see. Obviously ETH BTC I also was buying. I still am in a cope trade, but yeah, it's not looking well, and I'm
Yeah, don't worry,
I'm
we're not
kind
gonna
of
waste too much time on ETH because
yeah.
just embarrassing at this point.
Yeah,
Like
it's like nothing really is kind of, I don't know. The ETF, I'm sure you have a little more to say than
it's
I
not
do about
happening.
this.
It's not happening
Yeah,
in May
but it's
basically. I think at
basically not
least.
happening. Yeah, so it got rejected. It got hit with this
Wait, what do you mean rejected?
SEC.
Not rejected, delayed, right?
Yeah, delayed. Sorry, it got
It
delayed.
would be
It got
trading
hit.
even lower if it was
Yeah, but
rejected.
like when the SEC thing happened, which is basically as well as the FOMC on Wednesday, like the fact that this didn't like really go any lower, I felt like it's like super bullish at the time. But yeah, it's
It was
just
right for full 12 hours basically.
yeah, basically the classic ETH. I know that 4 hours may be like too big of a time frame. I basically long this here. We had this kind of sell-off, but you can see it didn't even break into the lows. I was thinking like this is like super bullish, like whatever, FMC not really that important, but like SEC thingy happening and this is not completely dying. I don't want to be in this long, but yeah, just like we hit the first level and it just became completely weak again as it's kind of
Always.
been yeah, as always. And I just cut the trade. I kept the ETBTC in, which I probably shouldn't have because it was basically around this
What did I tell you in
price.
DMs? Just fucking
Yeah,
close, close, close.
but yeah, I made some money on ETH, at least and in the long because I closed at the highs, but ETH BTC it's basically around my average. I was really kind of averaging in this area last week, so it's still not disaster, but I will most likely just get out of this as well. It's just not worth it at this point. I feel like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I just feel I don't know. To be fair, I just don't really have much of a bullish bias on on ETH anymore. Also, I feel like it's a little bit, and we talked about this basically last week and maybe
Last
even the
half
week
year
before
maybe.
that. Yeah, it's just still very crowded trade. I just see this kind of a, you know, bias from a lot of people, and then just like, you know, it's ETH time, and yeah, I'm not sure if I'm
And
if I'm willing to
if I
sit in
may,
this.
if I now make myself cope a little bit about it had so many opportunities, and even from like bullshit, like every narrative in crypto is bullshit, right? But like it either
Yeah.
sticks or doesn't, right? I mean, it's very simple. You can mid curve it, cope about it. Things either move or not. And I mean, Ethereum had all the opportunity in the world, and maybe this is like literally before bottoming out forever. But just like, I don't know.
Yeah, and even
Even the
like
classic, sorry, just very quickly, like
yeah,
even the classic, so you would have the usual Bitcoin pump, then ETH pump, alt pump. It literally just skipped ETH. We went straight from every other layer one and
yeah,
meme coins. So I think we can move on from ETH. It's literally
yeah,
like if
yeah,
you're still hoping for ETH to go up, it might go up against dollar, but very likely you're gonna underperform every single other shit in the market. So if you want to
yeah.
be right or make money, you make the decision for yourself. This is not financial advice show, anyways, and just sad.
It seems like being the case, it's really just people just don't care much. It
Yeah.
feels like about ETH and yeah, I
Even
think
with the
we
whole
gave this.
restaking thing, right? Like you have like
Yeah,
Eigenlayer and all these restaking protocols. And now it's like before you would need like ETH BTC to go up for Optimism or Lido to go up. If you now look today at OP or Lido,
yeah,
they just
yeah, both are
everybody
moving.
just said fuck you to Ethereum at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Lido has been doing well last week. Yeah, yeah, and it's still up quite a bit. Although this is like the most cursed coin probably that ever existed. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there are basically better things to trade than ETH.
Wanna start
Um,
with our clickbaity title?
yeah. So this has been kind of the weekend thing. I cannot really say that I paid much attention to the markets overall this weekend, but I took a little break, and all of a sudden Doge is going to the $1. Uh, People basically making this like a kind of a meme coin bet. I don't know. Like Doge obviously is up a lot, like a lot over the years. Um, it's not looking bad. Like the chart is actually looking kind of decent, but I don't know if there is what is basically it's like a last cycle high was 75 cents. So yeah, it's quite a far away from a dollar to be fair. What is this like? Yeah, 500%. So yeah, I don't know what are your thoughts basically on this because like I never really liked the trade Doge much. It was obviously always like what
Easiest
is
short
Musk
in the
going
market.
to. Yeah, yeah, basically Musk tweeting stuff at 4 a.m. and you just kind of was basically always fading it except even like if you basically take a look from like 2021 on a weekly chart, there wasn't really a much of a places where like longing this would make that much sense. The only exception was basically the end of 2022 when Musk bought Twitter. It really pumped quite a bit. It was like 200%.
And considering it was like a bear market, right? So I think the
Yeah,
context is very irrelevant in that.
yeah, but now people basically are like buying Doge because obviously all these meme coins are doing well. People kind of finally seems like realize that only use case ever crypto will have is basically speculation, and it's why to kind of bother with all the complicated tokens that are basically just full of VCs and unlocks and whatever dynamics when you can just buy a meme coin and do 1000x. So basically, a bunch of people what I saw just kind of came to this conclusion that Doge will still do this 5x move basically to the dollar since it's this kind of a OG meme coin, and
And I think that's
I
the
think
argument, right?
yeah.
That's the fun one. Like, is it like bullish that it's the original one, or is it bearish since we have all the fucking copycats from Shiba? Obviously, Pepe is not a dog, but the mind
Yeah,
share argument I think could be interesting to watch. And we always said, and it's been very true for all of these. When you have like an old coin, you have a bunch of bag holders, right? And like some of
yeah,
these just don't have it. Like Wave probably doesn't have that many, which doesn't mean I'm shilling Wave here, but I'm very curious to see if Doge has its run. So obviously the title is a bit of clickbait, but those are the arguments we see on CT, even from like seasoned traders, which is quite interesting. Doesn't mean they're
yeah.
wrong. Like if this goes to a dollar, I do genuinely believe this will be the best short and probably ever. It's, just like by simple, and maybe it goes much higher. I don't know. We could revisit when it goes to $1. But I'm just personally not sure if Doge, if you want
Yeah,
to be betting on old ones or the new ones.
and someone has a great point, in the chat. It's just like what more there can be for Doge, obviously.
Price going up.
There is this. Yeah,
It's literally it, right? I
yeah.
remember that with Celestia, right? When it went from like 2 to 10, it's basically if you're not staking on 50 wallets, you're basically supporting Nazis. Like you should consider unaliving yourself. Then Celestia, dumps or like does nothing for 2 months, and everybody is now avalanche maxi. It's just the usual suspects, and then like if Doge goes above 0.2, and it's like technically like a breakout, I think it just goes, like everything in these market conditions.
It's fun. Like I saw some people, and I saw an argument of people saying that, like, like people who like trade with a lot of money, just the Doge is only meme coin. They can bet, but these like meme coins have one of the highest volumes basically from like all the stuff. Like I know that Ship had insane volumes, and like a lot of these coins have like large volumes. I don't know. Yeah, like Doge is just. I'm not sure. To be fair, I'm also like the chart is obviously looking pretty strong. Like we had a huge move up. If you're gonna take a look at like weekly chart, it's breaking this kind of level of SR. I don't think this is like something that I want to fade. But also going to the $1 seems a little bit of a stretch.
I think if you want to sound like European retards, which we are, I'm gonna check market cap of Doge. I mean, it's number 8 coin, so basically betting on, a 5x is. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it is a bit wild.
But even the weekly, so the BTC chart is looking pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think it definitely has some potential to go higher. Jesus Christ. But yeah, not kind of.
Yeah, we can maybe move about something that we actually trade.
The only thing I traded last week, and I think you as well, was Ondo, which went up quite a bit, and it's still going up. I'm not long anymore, which obviously that's why this continues to go up. There's this whole kind of a real world assets narrative. To be fair, I still did not really caught up 100% on that. So maybe you have some more to say about this and some other coins that are like good bets, because this seems to be like the main narrative at this point.
Yeah.
What kind of is at least going up?
I mean, I think it's easier to sell to people than the whole restaking, simply from perspective of how stupid it is. I mean, not stupid. It's basically putting. I've seen like a main selling argument for RWA. If you look at the entire economy, how many trillions it is. All like real estate, stocks, everything. Like right, put all financial markets, and imagine you can tokenize them or put them on like on chain. That is pretty much RWA. So and then you have BlackRock creating 100 mil. Did you see the Ethereum fund?
Yeah.
That was only green day for ETH BTC because and then SEC sues Ethereum Foundation over like. So basically, Ondo, I think is like literally, and I not suggesting buying this here, but like if Bitcoin crashes, I'm going pretty much all in this shit because it is not like even $1 billion market cap with decent like tokenomics.
It's like 250-ish, or it was actually
No,
when
it was at 30 cents.
Yes, okay. When I was longing this at 50 cents like last week, it was pretty low. I was like surprised it's not higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and it has a very good positioning. Basically, this is a BlackRock coin. This is like all you need to know. We already spent 3 minutes wasting time on the Coinbase plus BlackRock coin. What more do you kind of want in this narrative? And
so now
then a bunch of other.
said that I closed the longs already.
Yeah, I mean, so did I, right? But I think like this thing for, we always talk shit about like, and I'm pretty sure this thing doesn't do much either. But from narrative, I think this is the next easiest trade after AI. Like if you think about like what will get, and we are retail too. Let's not make no mistake. But what will get the TikTok idiots interested? How do you sell them crypto, right? So meme coins, the classic. Which Lamborghini are you buying if Doge goes to, remember those, or Luna Classic back then?
Yeah.
So that's one. Then AI, because everybody's like, oh, you seen AI powerful, AI plus crypto, oh, number go up. And this, I think, is also very easy to sell to people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
and
mean, if we get a dip,
it's looking
I'm buying
looking
this.
good. You can see I have a alert here at 69 cents. So basically, very simple. I think even on a weekly, I'm just my like buy something like this. Just if we basically retest this kind of a structure highs at 60 cents, if we're gonna get that, I think this is very strong.
Yeah.
Looking chart. So
Like I would, if I
definitely.
was to bet of what will do 5x, would it be Ondo or would it be Doge in your book?
Yeah, that's probably quite self-explanatory.
Of course,
Um,
Dogecoin. Duh.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's pretty. I don't know, like AI coins not looking that hot. I feel like people kind of got over these, or at least they also like went up
You
insanely
have log
much.
log
So
chart now?
yeah, I switched here, but I don't
Okay.
think I have. No, just on that big one. Yeah, these obviously went up a lot. I'm pretty. I would love to see render kind of going back to the $7 range. Basically where we started to break out. It's also like this kind of a constellation which broke above the previous all-time high. This is like the only AI coin that I think I am like interested in buying. And I have some limits here, but I don't know if there is anything to kind of crazy interesting going in with the AI coins. We are basically past the Nvidia conference, which was
Yeah,
like the main
basically,
thing.
right. So you long into Nvidia earnings, which should be,
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
sometime
think
soon.
this is just a beautiful example of like why show is called. Oh, nice. Why show is called
Yeah,
musical chairs is because 2 weeks ago and AI coins was the hottest shit ever.
yeah,
Is that right? Around March 10th? Yeah, that's like the local,
mm,
and or even a week ago, and now it's obviously a very strong relative underperformance.
yeah,
And I keep saying it every week, and I don't mean because I'm sidelined or coping or whatever. It's truly, and I wish maybe we can talk about a little how to spot these rotations. But you kind of like if you're holding AI coins, you're like eating shit right now, right? You're down like 20,
yeah.
30% when you see even Eve doing better than your shit. That's not good.
And that's yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, right. So, and I don't know, do you have like I know you have a bunch of tools. Maybe you can give some tips. When do you notice, like rotation to you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like very often, once again, like even when like you look like very simple, you look like a very simple price action stuff. Like when like things just go insane, like you have these kind of like render basically make 82% in 4 days with these like huge candles, and that is the another huge candle basically 35% daily candle. This is like the type of days when people think that just this is gonna go up, forever, and then you just start to see it not going up immediately, basically after that. And this is very often when you have this kind of like a death of momentum, which doesn't mean that this is going to retrace like 50% immediately, but basically you will just start to kind of bleed down. And inevitably Bitcoin is going to have this kind of a five
Holy
percent
fuck, Litecoin is up 6%, sell everything.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, when really things just go like completely insane, like WorldCoin basically you have this 65% daily candle, and all of a sudden you just kind of start to bleed it out a little bit. So yeah, that's for me very often the signal that it's just like gonna start to slow down. But also one of the things where I feel like I made a mistake in the past personally was like people often kind of just start shorting these things, which especially crypto, it doesn't really like do this unless it's like complete shitcoin. You don't have like price action like this. You will
And
very
it's bear
often.
market, right? Like this
Yeah,
is
you
not
will
what you.
very often have something like this. Like you have this huge impulse leg up, and then even if you get like a good entry on short, you will basically just sit in it for like a long period of time because it will just get slowly grind down. Um, so yeah, I very often just like to basically look at these kind of continuation trades. When the open interest is going to get wiped up from this, I don't know, where it's sitting right now. Just look at like higher time frame levels where it makes the sense because we are still in the uptrend, and we talked about this even for Bitcoin. I feel like if BTC gonna go down to 52K, I don't think the kind of a higher time frame trend structure will change that much, like on a weekly chart, pull back to 52K, even maybe a little lower, I still see as just like a pullback in an uptrend. And if you take a look at stuff like this is still
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
strong, yeah, but like my point is here that I just am not super interested in just going shorting the top, but rather than look at these things that have these insane moves and just like being patient, because from my experience I know that I posted some of the like when Near was basically at like the highs last week, and I think I posted some like charts or some video basically talking about I would be very interested in buying this in like 4.5 dollar range, which was at the time was like 50% correction. But and like I saw some comments like people saying that it's never going to go back there, and it's possible like it might not ever go back there. We might just go.
Ever, huh?
Yeah, like for like next foreseeable future, but like all of a sudden near is down 30%, and this going to 4.5 is not so unreal all of a sudden, type of situation. So yeah, I'm just like looking at stuff which perform really well, and I just pick up levels where I would be pretty much happy to buy things, and I think Near and Render and this kind of whole AI narrative, I don't think it's like completely dead, but people just like shifted to something different for a while. But yeah, I think Near is now basically AI layer one.
I mean, that's very
All,
powerful.
yeah, that's like all the
That's like
buzzwords.
the only thing they need to add is restaking and points and
Yeah.
take my fucking money.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna add Near to my watch list, and whenever like
Yeah.
AI coins heat up a little bit, I'll just long Near. The only
Yeah.
thing I don't like is Near. Might not be the person to ask, but it is a Barry coin, right? Barry Silbert.
I'm definitely not the person to ask, but I don't think I saw him like affiliated with that too much.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
fine. It's
definitely
fine. He also
possible.
holds Zcash, so it's just.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
I think.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You go first.
I don't even know what I wanted to say, so it's fine.
Yeah, I can fill the void with. Adam is becoming a runner XBT 2.0. He's been running long distances with me, and back to crypto. I've noticed. I mean, back to your shorting thesis, the shorting. I think if you want to exit something, you should be looking to rotate, meaning take profit and look for another long setup. We are in a massive parabolic uptrend on all time frames, on all coins. If you're like now looking for shorts, I think there's something fundamentally wrong with you. Meaning like maybe you just or like it just what do you think like the risk reward of shorting some of these I don't know feels
Yeah,
and I see
I
it a
think
lot
that.
on CT people it just feels like PTSD.
Yeah, like definitely for like if you trade intraday, I think that's like completely different thing. I feel like we like when I used to day trade, and I kind of talked with some people who were, obviously for like into holding stuff longer, and there was this argument like, why would you, short an uptrend? It's obviously if you day trade, makes all the sense. So, but yeah, for the way that I believe, like we both of us trade at the moment, I just have this kind of a, I can afford to be patient basically, and just like clearly identify an uptrend, which most of these things are
Last
in
7 months,
very,
hello. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
like in a very clear uptrends, and just like try to buy basically the pullbacks. And obviously, there's this chance like this is it, this was the high, and we are gonna go to zero. It's always the case, but it can always be the case. But I for a lot of things I just like to take my chances to just try to buy lower as things are
And with
looking right
shorts, I
now.
feel like a lot of people who are just getting into crypto, for some reason, shorting is like, and obviously me and you are both Europeans, so we have shit to say, but it's like shorting as if it's sexy. This whole "I trade both ways" type shit. When you turn a day trade into an inverse investment, and
Yeah.
like chances are you're not GCR with unlimited collateral. You can just keep adding, and this is unironically the fastest way to poverty.
Yeah.
Shorting
Aptos
parabolic altcoins.
Aptos has I saw some news with Aptos with the RWA buzzword. Looks like they are kind of catching up and try to um, make on that, and Aptos has been doing quite well. Do you have any information about that?
No, it's just one of the shadiest looking charts right now. Like
Yeah,
if this doesn't
I've
scream
been
TDAP
I've
to
been long. I longed this, and I talked about this like 2 weeks ago, and yeah, I just like got out somewhere. This is just like trades like such a pain in the ass. There is the news are that Aptos is expected to make some big AWA announcement in early April. And Aptos DeFi.
For April Fool's joke or
There is a Aptos DeFi Days event which starts at April 2nd. So
I'm proud
yeah.
of you. You know these these things.
I just read this from Twitter, so it's not that impressive, but
No, it's for me like it's just layer ones and layer twos, and it's the
Yeah.
rotation. What is strong changes pretty easy, and you just kind of need to have a watch list like you do, or use any sort of spaghetti tools and whatnot, and you can really recognize these fairly easy. Like the rotation to Phantom and Aptos was, in my opinion,
This
one of the easier ones last
yeah,
week.
but like this thing is the typical staircase up, elevator down type of situation, and I know we are in uptrend, and things might not be like this, but I can very clearly see this doing something like this, like have this kind of a insane upthrust
Acceleration,
on
yeah.
more kind of like the bait. We are going to the all-time high, and then just taking out all these positions. So yeah, this is just trading like shit, and I'm not really interested
Yeah.
in longing this. And Phantom has been also yeah, doing pretty well, I
Wait,
would
it
say.
went to 1.2? The fuck?
Yeah, it went to 1.2. Has been strong. Now it's selling off a little bit now. I know a lot of people on CT talk about Phantom, which not like we are not at the weekly resistance here, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like I hate when things just like grind basically to one side. Although this had some like decent entry, maybe around
I
here.
went long there actually.
Yeah,
Somewhere around
it's
there.
like 95 cents. This is decent, but it's not looking so strong at the moment, to be fair.
Because
So I'm not sure.
there's a rotation to something else, I mean, it's literally what I discussed, and also BTC
Which is basically optimism. I was
and Lido.
kinda, yeah, Lido can, I know I posted this Lido on Twitter, and then I had this kind of like a self-reflection moment where I was like, do I really need to do this myself? I I longed ETH Do I really want to just like look at my position tab, which will say ETH long and Lido long? Like, is this really the way that I want to live my life? And I kind of realized that probably not. So Yeah, not sure about Lido. I don't even have this on the watch list here, but optimism has been talked a lot today. I not gonna lie, I was actually looking to get long. I think this is a decent setup. There is a yearly VWAP, and just kind of wanted to see this hold above it, but we are already selling off today a little bit, so yeah, I will be just watching this at the daily close. If this is not going to die, I might just, bid something a little bit, maybe. Um,
Sorry, I'm tweeting here, shit posting. Yeah, I just cannot justify. That's why I love streaming on weekends, because I can actually, like, when if I'm in a position, I feel like, I think it applies for everybody, right? So say you're completely flat, like no position, I think you can make much better decisions than being long ETH BTC and just trying to find arguments or whatever the trade might be, trying to rationalize and basically find confirmation bias why your idea was right. And just on the weekends, if I've learned something from like the quote unquote OG European traders, it's just not trade weekend. Wait for weekly open. Wait for some of the like classic levels. They served me well over the years. And now obviously with fucking ETFs, also for just US Open on Monday. Maybe wait for Monday range, see what CT is shilling and go from there. But like being here on Sunday evening, instead of like weather is getting better, you can chill with your friends and family, touching grass or ass, whatever your preference might be, and being like, oh fuck, I missed 7% move on optimism. I mean, like, then you go eat dinner and it's retraced fully. Just
yeah, it's definitely this kind of like used to be a big thing, like the weekend bait situation when something went up on a weekend, you were very sure that it will dump 15% the second the CME starts to trade, but yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I don't really rush into things, especially on weekend. I really like to wait. Like we are with the huge ETF and CME volumes. At the end of the day, it's really a very important part of this market, especially like at least for Bitcoin. So yeah, there's definitely no reason to rush. And I feel like with obviously like you can always try to kind of looking for the next narrative. I still feel like the layer ones, layer twos are going to be the best performance at the end of the day. It's very simple. Bet on like the whole ecosystem. Especially for I feel like for me and for you as well. We are not really trading on chain.
I would just remove Polkadot and Cosmos from your watch list and Cardano.
Yeah, but like, and I feel like a lot of focus now where people are shifting is base, which doesn't have a token. So, yeah, that's most likely where the next kind of a on-chain season seems to be heading from the Solana.
From racist chain.
Yeah, from the T-Races chain.
Let's not drop any names, even as a joke, okay? I don't want to get cancelled. Thank you.
Yeah, people kind of leaving Solana for base. And base doesn't have a token. You can obviously bet coin if you are into that. If you have a option to.
By the way, is your dog is like dancing there?
Where?
Not on the chart. I mean, like in the back. Maybe I'm just autistic.
There's the. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, like the coin is still looking pretty good. I saw someone like talking about the Coinbase stock in relation with the base token, which kind of made sense to me. I wouldn't probably buy it here, maybe at like 190.
And generally speaking, like obviously we have no clue, but base should be fairly cheap, if I'm not mistaken. And I think even though we're two on-chain traders, we're not. But I think you waste like I think it's useful to just explore the ecosystem relatively early.
Yeah.
Not an airdrop farmer, but chances of you getting something in return, it's very high. So if you're like super bored and you're watching this chart hoping for 11 tickers we're gonna show you, the actionable alpha would be bridge to base and use some of the protocols. provide LP and whatever you can do. And I just believe it's gonna. And
Yeah,
we've seen
like
it
I
time and
did.
time again, right? With these early ecosystem, quote unquote.
Yeah, like I did very similar thing with Arbitrum and Optimism back in 2021. Although I'm not the biggest on-chain trader, I traded a bunch of volume there, and obviously I didn't get an insane airdrop. I didn't farm 150 wallets, but it was still a kind of a pleasant surprise when the token came. So definitely, if you are into that, obviously use some common sense, which a lot of people seems to be missing when it comes to especially on-chain stuff. But yeah, definitely um exploring that. Yeah, like base is somehow related to optimism. I know that I
I
read that
believe
on.
it's forked or using OP stack. It's
Yeah, yeah,
but to very technical people.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
But
yeah, they're friends.
it has something to do. It has something to do with optimism, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I've seen Jesse and a bunch of other devs discussing the whole token thing. Problem there is base is the Coinbase chain, right? And
Yeah.
actually, what is quite interesting, and I think could be very actually interesting, is basically playing some of the narratives around the lawsuits, which sounds weird now, but remember when XRP beat SEC in a lawsuit, XRP went bonkers, and there's
Yeah.
many other lawsuits actually ongoing right now. Just careful you don't dox anything, please. Just see you open some like selfie folder or something.
No, no. Yeah,
But
yeah.
coin
I have many selfie folders in my computer. That's what
of
I do all
yourself
day,
or other
basically.
people. No, like Coinbase has a lawsuit with SEC as well. SEC is suing Ethereum Foundation. There's a bunch of stuff with Uniswap. I think a lot of the narratives coming forward will be around these events, and when they have a resolution, I know what I'll be longing. Which respectfully join my paid group, and I'll share you what it is. But no, like for example, the Uniswap revenue sharing thing. It didn't really land. I believe it was dismissed for now or did not pass. But things like that, basically, I think can make some of the best trades this year in these market conditions.
Yeah.
Just imagine the pump if Coinbase beats SEC. And now, I don't know if you pay attention to this, but the Coinbase perpetual exchange keep listing a bunch of new stuff, and they're actually getting
Yeah.
some volume in base season and coin stock. It's becoming really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Imagine ETH beating SEC and ETH BTC goes down on the day.
It's literally down like another percent today. So
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, it's just like
bullshit
down
chain.
only. This is so awesome. This is just like, yeah. Yeah, definitely like the positive news for the coins if they are not called ETH, are definitely good trades. Yeah, but like with this all this being said, just like overall the things that I try to do is just like look for relative strength. I for example like I saw some people still talking about Celestia, it's just like down much more compared to some just other things, which I feel like it's kind of also worth to look at, like
And
how much the coins.
but maybe also like the relative strength have some real reasonable expectations. So I think like Celestia was actually a decent long that day, but
Yeah,
it stayed for like 2 days, and I feel like the rotations are becoming much faster and faster.
yeah,
And
yeah,
even like you showed Near, right? You showed Phantom. You showed even BNB had like a good week. And what I'm trying to say is kind of I think these conditions favor more of like day traders rather than
yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't think anything, even if whatever you buy here, I don't think is a hodl, unless it's something with a very clear narrative. For
yeah.
example, for halving, so you're like ordinals and STXs. I think the context there is very different than.
I think it's, and like, to be fair, like look at how these things, like if we gonna take a look at AVAX, which obviously is a lot, up a lot. Like the actual trending moves. Let me use some of these. Yeah, like this. Like you have basically like a like a 10 days of just like trending move, but then usually, you know, these are just like followed by these like huge consolidations. So this is like a normal thing, you know. It's not like something unique where, like, for the most part, a lot of these moves are just like day traders market, even though, you know, most people just like, you know, still promote the hodl and just, you know, buy and chill, spot and chill, you know, like
But that was to be done
making,
in like 2022, right? And not in fucking
yeah.
Bitcoin at all-time highs.
Yeah, like, you know, I personally don't see that big of a difference between like holding spot and perps, like especially if it like goes against you, you know, like you don't want to be holding something that goes down 40%, and, you know, because you're in spot, it doesn't make it, you know, like less painful.
But maybe funding could be like an argument.
Yeah, like obviously, like the funding is basically the only thing, and if you are not like dumb and, you know, you don't use 100x and, you know, like you need to pile in margin, that, you know, that's kind of stupid. But yeah, like for a lot of these things, and I like, for example, AVAX as well, you know, I have this very nice kind of level around the yearly VWAP, you know, this kind of a huge consolidation. If you're gonna get retest into that, same similar for BNB, you know, that's like 20% lower as well, you know, somewhere in this area, you know, like if you're gonna get there, I think it's a very, very nice spot to get long. But, you know, I don't really want to be flip-flopping here. I don't want to, you know, I don't day trade anymore. Therefore, you know, this is just like not kind of the market for me to trade at the moment, you
Can
know,
we
and
look
I'm
at
very,
Ordi and STX? So give some
yeah,
actionable.
these might be, or it's pretty weak, to be
Yep,
fair.
it is.
It's not really, haven't done much in last 3 months. Last week we kind of talked about these lows. I believe
Mm-hmm.
we mentioned this on stream at $44. I think that still would be a
Yep.
nice level to bet. Doesn't not change much there. STX I think is a little stronger. Yeah, this is a little bit stronger.
Of
Um,
course, I chose the bigger retard trade.
this is basically breaking the all-time high today again. Not I don't haven't seen that many people
Yeah,
talking
exactly
about
right. Like everybody talks
this.
about
Yeah,
optimism and phantom, and this is much
yeah,
stronger.
yeah. And even with the or like the Bitcoin halving trade with ordinals, like people, you know, obviously there is this what was the called, node monkeys, which flipped. Um, Not the board apes, but maybe even board apes. I don't know. But obviously people just like talking a lot about the NFTs on Bitcoin, and ordinals is kind of more tied to that, I feel like, compared to stacks. But yeah, this is looking very good, and I think this is something which I would be very happy to long if we manage to get, like, this is what,
20.
$3.2. Yeah, like maybe just like quickly trade it underneath these lows, but I definitely would be looking to get long this next week, or if we can, you know, whatever, we're gonna get a pullback into that. We have this nice structure, you know, we broke out of it on Wednesday, and obviously this kind of sign that, you know, it's like stuff that you see like it's holding up for, you know, 4 days above. It's kind of a sign to me that this wants to hold. I just want to see a little bit of pullback maybe.
Yeah, but
And
this is like
yeah,
this is what I'm kind of talking, or like what I kind of miss on CT right now is, so this, for example, very strong. Nobody talks about, has a clear
yeah,
narrative, has a structure.
yeah,
You know, this is
yeah.
like a setup I personally like, rather than, oh, but this guy tweeted about it. Shut. No, you know, this is what I like.
Yeah, yeah,
Buying after
definitely.
50x.
Yeah, definitely stacks at all-time high. You know, it's up like, yeah, it's up like 50x, but Runner likes it because there's halving. So,
Which is obviously me not saying I'm longing here, but like in case of, you know, when I feel like Bitcoin gives a bit of correction and some sort of structure and I feel confident, this is something I want to have on a watch list.
there is a mention of Rune, which is thing that I feel like people just also keep kind of missing, and it's just like up so much. I don't know. I don't think this is like the worst spot to be long. It's super strong still. So, and it basically, you know, you had this kind of weekly level of SR. Oh yeah, this is looking pretty decent. It's just not really continuing that much at the moment. Yeah. Are there some other? We are kind of slowly coming to the hour. Are there any other coins you guys trade? You guys want to talk about? Please not be. No, don't make me open the screener.
No, we're not gonna. Like, it's just still a retardio.
Oh, is there a Pendle?
Yeah,
That's
on
like
Binance.
very yeah. That's
What is it?
still.
Is it like
There's
a
like
staking? No, it's
it's
a
yeah.
layer
It's
2, no?
something. No. It's something on ETH. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's something on ETH.
I mean, that's very useful, right?
DeFi.
It's on ETH.
I was looking, you know what I was looking at, and it's not literally doing well. It was IVO. Yeah, it's looking like shit to be fair. It had like a big negative funding, new coin, all of the nice buzzwords, but yeah, it's not really
Problem
going
there
up.
is, and I have not used the platform, so I don't want to like talk shit, but this is basically was the most farmed protocol in history of
Yeah.
farmed protocols, and I feel like it kind of reflects it. Now, maybe next week this will be trading at $11.
Yeah. Back to the pendulum. That's a bit more interesting chart. I think it's just looking strong. I just don't really see any levels where I would just like buy it because it's just like really a lot of back and forth. But
So
yeah, I
Pendle
don't
is
really.
like a yield generating. 1 second, Messari is reloading. Yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff. It's a it's a DApp. Fixed yields and yield tokenization. Oh, nice. RWA plus restaking plus ETH. Cross-chain compatibility. Hell yeah.
Someone mentioned AVAX a fourth time, so we should probably look at
I mean,
that.
we did, no?
Which we did already. Yeah.
Look at 43 and...
Yeah, just like look at $43
I would
if you
actually
want to
say
get long.
47 maybe too, because given the
Yeah.
aggressive market conditions.
Yeah, like somewhere in here,
In that
I wouldn't buy
cluster,
it.
around 11th of
Yeah,
March.
yeah, this whole area right here is probably good long. I wouldn't touch it here. It's just like going sideways. There's no volatility. So yeah.
Test.
And
Can you hear me? I knocked my microphone.
Yes, I can hear you.
Unfortunately.
With I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
I think with Wave, it's just like it's up just so much. And this is I always say that, and then this stuff does like 4x. But like yeah, like it will come to the point where it's just like I don't know how much market cap this has, but obviously
Do you think this will have a negative effect because of the current landscape of very edgy coins on that specific chain, or not at all? And
I
given the
don't
title of the
know.
stream, if Doge runs, do you think this thing should relatively underperform, or should it benefit from it?
I think this thing will relatively underperform. So it will definitely outperform. But this is up 10x in a month. It's to me it's a little similar to Injective, which like
Oof.
outperforms so much in such a short period of time, like the whole market basically. It will just go sideways, very much slow down
Like
because it
Celestia
just had
maybe for like
yeah,
months.
or even Celestia. I just kind of keep forgetting, but Celestia is also that kind of example which did almost 10x in
Basically
you
sideways
know
for last 4 months.
yeah, and it's just sideways, and yeah, I think these things like there is obviously people think that things will go up forever, but it's when these things just like they will just eventually hit the point where they are just like went on such a huge run that they will eventually outperform, and people just gonna buy new kind of shiny things. So yeah, I think Celestia is the case as well.
So I
I
think
don't really
to give it a bit of more actionable, because somebody might be listening and be like, what the fuck are they even saying? If there is a pullback, look for something that's been strong last few days, the day of the nuke, basically. Don't buy
Yeah.
something that half a year ago was nice. If you're good at soccer in high school and you're now 35, man, like, you know, it's time to move on.
Yeah. Someone asked about Atom, which
Jesus
my
Christ.
answer to this is I don't think I ever traded this in my life. And I think I will die one day knowing that I never traded this in my life. That's basically my kind of view
May I
on.
be a bit like, no, I don't want to be like rude, but why the fuck would you trade this? If the person could follow up, like, what is the reasoning to
Yeah,
trade
like
this?
look at even weekly chart on Phantom, which obviously broke outside of this May 2022 consolidation like insanely, way too much, and then look at Atom. Obviously, like people, I feel like a lot of people just love to kind of bet
On things
on.
that didn't pump yet?
Yeah, yeah, like this whole like I think Hasaka tweeted this couple times, like buying uh outperformers before they become, like the whole kind of thing. Like you buy the thing, which is the next thing before it's a thing.
And Cosmos is
Yeah.
never that thing, basically. Like, if you
Yeah,
zoom
I
out, it was never the thing. It's like
yeah,
trading
yeah.
Polkadot. Can you do Polkadot chart? It's literally the same shit.
Yeah, it's a little stronger, but very similar.
And I'm talking
Um,
about like the chart. I don't. If you're like in love with the technology, this is not the stream for you.
yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I just like there is like for example when you have like very clean relative strength. For example, let me give you like I longed near at the end of January and I haven't held it all the way to $9, but there is a very clear strength in the coin, which is well kind of established. It's very clean, it's not like looking like this. What is this thing? Which like, goes back and forth basically every single day. Like this, it's like insanely ugly. But like if you compare this to the near, which is the same kind of a time window, you have a very clear established trend. You have a very nice level where this kind of a next leg came up. I just like look at stuff which like I just look at and it takes me literally like 10 seconds to be like, okay, I will just buy this here, rather than opening this and just like feeling the pain of
It's like if you love pain, start longing if BTC instead,
yeah.
or like start running or something. Start a
Yeah,
podcast.
no. Yeah, definitely. I just believe that there are better bets than Atom,
I think it's like
personally.
actually very difficult to find worse bets than this. I would put it this way. Or like again, did the person follow up why Cosmos? Like, is it a technical? Is it fundamental? Is it
I don't think
didn't Pumpador?
I'm pretty sure that
Can you
that
please show Cardano?
yeah, this is
It's
my favorite.
it's your
I'm s- I still have money on Sunday swap. Um, yeah, this is not looking good. But to be fair, like
It looks like Atom.
Cardano, yeah, yes, but no.
What the fuck was that wicked there?
Yeah. That's like Charles Hoskins buying something new, but I don't know. Like Cardano, obviously, is like completely useless. Does nothing, but it has like such a cult following base, and it like brings so much volume. Like it's up a lot. This is like it's 3x. Okay, like since October, it's not that much, but I don't know. Like Cardano is still can trade like relatively clean-ish, and even you can see this on the chart if you wouldn't have this like a huge wig here compared to Polkadot or Atom. Atom is like the best example of like the worst market you can look at. What would make you buy spot for a long hold? Big correction to 50k. Well,
But even then, you would sell like at 58, or something like.
yeah, I'm not.
What is long? Maybe I think the question is incorrect because what is long hodl? Like, is that
Yeah.
because I don't think a literal drop of nuclear bomb somewhere in the world would make you or me buy something for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm definitely um and I think we both are like obviously
European
you
retards.
buy yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but like the most money that we make is not because we hold spot in any market, but there are like certain situations, in either in Bitcoin, I trade, a lot of legacy markets. Like, but basically, when there is just like trades which are very obvious, very kind of a strong conviction plays, is when you just bet a little more than you usually do, and this is the kind of a short-term window when you make,
Yeah.
the most kind of returns within quarter, within a year or whatever, rather than like me buying BTC at 50K and hoping it will go
200.
200,
Yeah.
in which point I would have to basically just like bet 75% of what I have to make this huge kind of a trade for me, and I don't really want to sit in a trade for several months and being like kind of a locked out in this one position, as well.
It's like it's a game of
Although,
opportunity cost, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's like, and I think everybody has a limit where they just are too exposed. Like I've had first month of this year, and it was my best month. I will probably never beat it, but I was so fucking leveraged, relative to portfolio. So if your portfolio, just for the number's sake, is $1,000, and you have $3,000 in positions, meaning you're 3x your stack leveraged, you just cannot open another position. Or I mean, you could, but you're probably like very, you're really risking, right?
yeah,
Like it's not the
yeah,
smartest thing, and I feel like this is the people. It's so under mentioned topic in terms of the whole trade management thing. It's like how does everybody keep catching every single trade, every single rotation perfectly, yet they shield the pre-sale scams. Like something doesn't add up.
yeah,
And I think what one thing you could do for bull runs, and that's what we do at work, is just instead of having USDT as collateral, you can have Bitcoin or ETH. So by default, if you're longing altcoins, you're technically speaking going Texas long, meaning you're going leveraged, right? And but like the whole convexity works both ways. Like right, when you have people holding Bitcoin going coin M long when everything is nuking, the collateral is nuking significantly faster. And I don't know.
yeah,
I'm trying to give some like advice that isn't degenerate on the whole hodl stuff.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because the hodl stuff, and like you know who I'm talking about. There's like people who just turn hodl into like religion and like actually never sell. And I feel like with Bitcoin you miss that by 10 years, buddy, or 5 years minimum.
Yeah. And I've personally like also and this is like my kind of thing. It's like I really would much rather go into like a bigger leverage position. To be fair, like I took one like bigger trade in legacy markets, which I'm not going to talk about on this stream because it's like a different audience. But like I didn't have like a huge conviction bet in crypto for a couple of weeks, maybe months. But like even with the Ondo trade, which was like one of the bigger trades I took in the last few weeks, which longing here, kind of closing into the highs. Like I would much rather just like take a big trade, and if I'm wrong on that, I will just like cut the trade in a couple of days. Like the worst case scenario. I'll just like it's like you long here, it goes to shit. You are down. You kind of realize was probably a little bit stupid. You will cut the trade, and it's over. You rip the band-aid off, and live continue with your life basically, rather than just like buying a lot of spot. And like this is that kind of a CT argument when like obviously you don't pay funding on spot, it's easier to hold, but like CT makes buying spot this kind of a almost like risk-free situation where there is still option you to like buy a lot of spot and it like goes down like 40%. And then like like that kind of sucks because like you're gonna like imagine this, like you will buy, like if you bought BTC in in like 2022 at 46K right here,
Because it
like
looked
you
like it's
bought,
gonna recover, right?
yeah, like you bought a spot, and you're like, yeah, I'm just spot and chill, haha, it's so easy, whatever. It went down 70%. And like, okay, like if you had a conviction at the end of the day, it recovered. You are up not that much from 46K buys. You are up 40%, whatever. But like, spot is not leveraged, so like all your money is locked into this one position, and obviously this is like the most extreme example I could think of at the moment. But there are definitely a large risk to just like buying spot and thinking that everything is going to be just awesome and you will end up just make a bunch of money. And especially in altcoins, like people always like, yeah, I'm long this altcoin that moves like 35% up and down on a day, but it's okay. It's spot position. It's fine. Like there's not that much of a difference. Obviously, the only difference is that people are dumb and they don't know how to use leverage, so they just do 100x without having money for it. And also, someone even asked in the comments, I hold stuff for a couple days. I've been long a bunch of things when things were going up. With very high funding, it definitely hurts when you pay like 0.3% on your notional position a day. But,
I think what we could do next stream, because today it's kind of over anyways, but is just discuss the actual trading and like things like risk, right? So people saying like invalidations, because basically how I can tell somebody, and like look, respectful, we all started, right? I'm not claiming to be expert. No, Adam isn't either. We're just guys like you trying to fucking make it and whatnot. But whenever I get a question, how much leverage you're using, I mean, that automatically screams like I have no clue about trading whatsoever. Because the whole how much. So people saying like how much leverage, but the question should be how much you're risking, like percentage or dollars, notional or.
Yeah, like leverage is like the last thing you should kind of concern when you are opening a trade, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
BTC is pumping.
BTC is pumping, which means BTC is down more than it was when we started.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, the streams are sponsored by Woo. You can make a new account on Woo. It's in the description. If you start trading there, you will get. Someone is talking about IDEX for the whole hour and just spamming IDEX.
At 50 cents. He's up a lot. If you expect me to hold your hand on profits as well, I cannot help you, brother.
I think Runner was shilling this. The whole CD is shilling this. I did not trade this, so
no. Put some respect on my name. Not a single fuck on Twitter shill this, but they will shill it when I'm up 4x, basically. Thanks for playing. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Okay.